everybody, it is the Nade Raider, and today we are going to be looking at another scene from the Book of Boba Fett. It had a pretty epic finale, and this scene is actually going to be from the second to last episode. I'm sorry that's been a while, but I actually had a child recently.
Another one.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
3 actually, but thanks for the concern. Today we are looking at the epic duel of Cobb versus Bruce Wayne. No, not Bruce Wayne. Bane, not Wayne. Oh, Cobb Vanth versus Cad Bane.
This planet's seen enough violence.
You should have never given up your armor.
So I'm really pleased with all the details I've been able to pack in here from the show. We've got kind of the moisture vaporator that's iconic, even from the New Hope with Luke. And then we've got some machinery that's sitting over on the dock in the corner. And a few different aspects of the cantina that I've tried to be really faithful to in recreating them. If you look closely, you may be able to see there are a few people peeking out of both the door and the window, which is accurate to the scene. We've got the cantina owner peeking out of the door, and then one of the villagers just kind of peeking out the window, seeing what's going to happen. Out on the boardwalk, we see the deputy, who is... he just kind of gets gunned down in this scene, but he's there watching, trying to help out. In the foreground, of course, we've got main characters Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane, and we will take a little bit of a closer look at all of the minifigures now. So the trickiest figure was Cad Bane because I did not have Cad Bane's head. I did pull out the blue heads I had in my collection, which were this blue head, I think from Ninjago, and then Marvel's Nebula head. The Ninjago head maybe could have worked okay, but the red eyes are so iconic for Cad Bane. So I went on Bricklink, of course, to see how much I could get the figure for, and the figure was at minimum around 20 bucks, and since I think even jumped to about 50 bucks, that was out of the question for me. And so then I looked at just his head. The cheapest head that I could find in the US was about $3. I think the prices even went up from there. And that's a little too much. $3 plus shipping on top of that. That was too much for me as well. So I kind of just settled on going with the Ninjago head. Figured that was what I was going to have to do. But last ditch effort, I realized I should check Brick Owl. Brick Owl's story was the same, except for there was one seller who had the head for 53 cents. So I instantly purchased that along with a few other items from that store. Now that's not going to be a huge deal in the future. As you may have heard the rumor, there is a Cad Bane starship coming out in the summer. But I'm really pleased with the way he came together. Got Indiana Jones hat on him there, and then I've kind of tucked this cape underneath his arms to give him his iconic trench coat look. Next up, we've got Cobb Vanth. He's rocking his maroon shirt with a little bit of a red scarf. I've used Ron Weasley torso there, and then a little rubber band around his neck for his scarf. Kind of leads into the torso even. I'm least pleased with his hairpiece. I'd like there to be some more of kind of a spike up front, but I did not have a good hairpiece in gray for him. I think this one could have worked, but it doesn't exist yet in gray. Next up, we've got our heroic deputy here with his orange scarf. I really love the way he turned out with Han Solo's hair. And then a nice bearded face there. Some cargo pants in tan, and then like a little jacket there. I think he looks really accurate to the TV show. Love the way that he turned out. Rest in peace. F's in the comments below for him. Here we've got the bartender, and pretty simple, just kind of a brown torso and then an alien head. There may have been a few better options, but this was the best that I had in my collection. It's from the ATST Raider set from Season 1 of The Mandalorian. And rounding out the figures here, we have the villager who ends up being a sniper on the roof with one of the mods in the final episode. She's got these bright orange yellow pants and then this kind of dark orange shirt, and I think she actually turns out pretty well. See, she's got a little bit of a green kind of scarf there is what I'm saying. That's actually supposed to be the skin color of one of the Rhodians initially, but I think it actually works pretty well for her. She did have kind of a little scarf in the episode. So this is, of course, the duel in the desert between Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane, as previously mentioned. I'm really pleased with how the Cantina building turned out. It was kind of the main structure from this MOC. One of the trickiest parts to nail down was these curved planks that surround the Cantina, and I think that they actually ended up turning out really nicely. So we'll take a little closer look at what exactly is going on there. The curved sidewalk is comprised of a few different sections, and so I'll take this guy off for a minute so we can get a little better look there. The way that they work is we've got straight sections, and then at the end of this first section we have one of these wedges underneath the tile here, and then I'm using some hinges for both this section and this section here that are mirrors of each other, and so they kind of work so that you almost have a continuous rounding curve there. And in between those two, I've got two wedges on top of each other that kind of fill in the gap there. So it's kind of little pieces of pie almost that you're fitting in together to make the curved boardwalk. And then the other side just kind of matches that. Something else that I think turned out pretty nicely is the kind of flag canopy style pieces up here that are seen on the building. And the way I achieved those are just with some little flag elements. I'm not sure if these are from Ninjago or exactly what they're from, but they work out pretty nicely to make some different canopies and things that you see in different areas on Tatooine. Then the canopies, kind of different flag canopies on top, I ended up using some of these kind of flag pieces that I thought ended up looking pretty nice. Probably my favorite building technique on this was actually the dome here. I used kind of a clever connection to get it put together. So you can see kind of the little almost window type pieces that I've used here to mimic some of what's going on in the dome from the show. But the tricky part of it is that those windows are just attached here, and then I felt like when I'd built that, I felt like there was still too many gaps, and I wanted to fill in those gaps somehow, but there was no way to put any type of brick into these little half open studs. And so I came up with the idea of kind of doing a little reverse anti-stud of it, just so that I could put them in like this. And then the way that I finish that off is just by coming in and clamping those. It's still kind of free floating, but I have seen LEGO use that in a few of their sets, a similar technique, and I thought that it worked pretty well there. With the first season of Boba Fett complete, I'm considering still doing one final build from the series. But aside from that, let me know what you would like to see me work on next in the comments below. Thank you guys all for watching, and I will see you again next time.